Okay, Lockwood and Company, episode 5. Okay, so we start off, we're at the Lockwood house where the team's preparing to do the investigation. George isn't happy that Lockwood made this bet with Kip, but Lucy steps in and settles things between them and they begin the investigation. They head to the cemetery where Kip and his team are already there. They meet their clients, the man whose name I don't remember, and the woman whose name is Pamela Joplin. And they seem to be at odds between each other as to the mirror being stolen. The guy doesn't seem to be that concerned about it as long as he gets the insurance money. That seems to be his main concern. While Ms. Joplin, however, is concerned and upset about the importance of this artifact and what it means. Lockwood thinks that it was a relic man who stole it, while Kip's team thinks it was an inside job. They find a badge that seems to indicate that there was an agent from a company called Tendies that was involved. George goes off to do research, while Lucy and Lockwood stay to investigate the scene. While leaving the cemetery, George finds a body in the river. It turns out it's an agent named Danny Cloth, who Lockwood knew, and indications from the body seem to imply that he was like clawing at his eyes, and we think because of something that he must have seen in the mirror that he was taking. So George goes to the archives to do the research, but the woman at the desk tells him that it's full for the day, and he can't get in. So he's leaving dejected, walking out down the road in front of the place, and he runs into Ms. Joplin, who says she's on the board of the archives and she can get him in. So they seem to be building a connection, the two of them. Lucy and Lockwood enter a sketchy area down by the river where the relic men apparently hang out. Lockwood says that he knows someone there that can help them. Turns out that the relic man that he knows is actually a woman. Lucy hears something and she looks and finds a ghost baby lying on the ground by the river. And then she hears, we see and we hear this screaming ghost come flying at Lucy. She starts running and yells to Lockwood, calling it a cold maiden. So that's another type of ghost I guess we haven't really encountered yet, but seems to be part of the mythology here. As it gets closer to Lucy, however, it disappears. And then we see the person that they came to meet, this relic hunter named Flo Bones. She says that she stopped the ghost by covering the relics, which she's dug up out of the sand. And it seems like she's been hunting for this particular ghost for a while, and she seems to know the story behind it. It's from the Victorian era, and it was this woman who got paid by wealthy women who got pregnant to have their babies adopted, but in fact what she was doing was drowning the babies in the river, so it's pretty horrific. Flo says that she can make a lot of money selling these relics. I'm still not really sure why someone wants these relics or what they do with them or where the actual value comes and the purpose of them in this whole world, but anyway, Lucy is not happy with Flo that she, makes the money doing these things, and it's very underhanded. And Lockwood offers to help by getting a foundling museum that he knows to buy the relics. He says they could buy them for more than she could make, and it would keep them off the black market and keep them safe. So she agrees to that, and with the condition that she will then help them track down information on the Danny Cloth. Back at the archives, George is looking into the Bickerstaff mansion and family, and he seems to find a connection with a woman named Mary Duloc. So I have a feeling that's going to continue to come up. Pam offers for him to come to her place for dinner. So now we see Flo and Lockwood and Lucy in like a diner. Flo tells them that Danny's partner was a guy by the name of Jack Carver, and she tells them to leave a note on this board in this diner and that he will find them. So they do that, and she says that they were working with this antiques dealer named Winkman to move these relics that they would capture. Back at Pam's, George and Pam, they continue to bond over their love of like research and history and myths and stuff like that. So there's definitely like a connection building between them that I think is going to play out as the story goes on. Walking back from the meeting with Flo, Lockwood wants to go right then to Winkman's and try to get the mirror back. Lucy isn't keen on that idea, but they wind up doing it anyway. They break into a warehouse, I guess where this Winkman is. Lucy hears voices of relics coming from all around. They're trying to figure out which one is the mirror, where the mirror is located in this warehouse. when they hear something, and Lucy hides, and Lockwood confronts whoever it is, and it turns out it's a young boy, maybe around 12 or so. He doesn't speak, and he's carrying this kind of like wind-up robot toy. A woman comes, I assume is the mother, and she has some kind of like taser on a stick, and she zaps Lockwood, and he passes out, and she tells the boy, who she calls Leopold, to get his father. So then back at the Lockwood house, we see George, and he's looking over his notes, and he's tired and starting to fall asleep, and he sees an image of this dead boy, Danny, and he kind of wakes up with a start, and we can tell from these scenes that George is not right. He's kind of nervous, and he's unnerved and unsettled, kind of. Lockwood wakes up, and he's tied to this chair in what looks like some kind of workshop or something with this guy, Winkman. Winkman wants to know who he is and what agency he works for and who told him to come here. And he's got some kind of machine with dials and stuff on it, and he starts turning the dials. He asks Lockwood who else knows he's there, and it seems like this device is like sending an electrical charge into this chair with Lockwood in it. And back in the warehouse, Lucy seems like she's located the mirror. She's at this locked cabinet, and it seems like she can hear it in there. And then Leopold comes in, and she seems to understand that he's like a listener like her, and that he can hear the relics. I'm not sure if Leopold is autistic, or if there's just been like traumatized or something, but he doesn't speak. At least we haven't seen him speak so far. But Lucy asks him to help, or actually she asks to listen to the robot toy that he's carrying, and he gives it to her, and she hears like cries, or like a child crying, and a slap. Now I'm not sure if this is like memories from Leopold, or if this was someone else, that had it before that these are coming from, but it seems like Lucy's trying to make a connection with this boy, and she asks him to help her find Lockwood. But then as she's doing that, the mother comes up from behind and shocks her with this stick, and drags her off into the room with Lockwood. Winkman suggests killing both of them and making it look like suicides. Lockwood tells him and pleads with him, no, don't kill Lucy, let her go and just kill him. But then Lucy wakes up, she grabs a container of gasoline from the counter and like douses both Winkman and the wife with it. And then she pulls out a lighter and threatens to light it, if they don't let them go. I have to say, this part was a bit dubious. I don't know. It was a bit of a stretch for me to believe that she kind of woke up so quickly, was able to, to jump up fast, knew to grab this, this container of gasoline on this counter. I don't even know how she knew there was gasoline there, and dump it on him and come up with this. It seems like in just a split second like that. But hey, it's a show, whatever. That's how they did it. So you just go with it, I guess. But anyway, she frees Lockwood. They run out the door while Winkman is screaming and saying he's going to get them. So back at the house, we see George, and he still seems kind of disturbed, and something, something's not right with him. I'm beginning to think it's an effect from when he looked in the mirror when he first found it in the tomb. He sees a ghost shape at the window in the kitchen, and he kind of hits at it, and he cracks the mirror. And then Lucy and Lockwood realize that the partner, Carver, were going to come looking for them. So they're concerned that George is home alone, so they rush home, and they get back there, and George is still waiting for them, wondering where they were. And then there's a knock at the door, and they go to the door and answer it, and it is this Carver, apparently. And he comes in and falls on the floor. Apparently he's been stabbed. He's got this knife in his back. And he starts, they're trying to talk to him, and he says a couple of mysterious things. He talks about the bone glass, which I don't know if that's what the mirror is, if that's what they're calling the mirror now. He says 7, not 1, and that he saw terrible things in the mirror. Then Lucy hears, "Come with me," but at that point he's dead, so only she hears it, and it seems like his ghost is like calling to her. So recap, the Cold Maiden was like a cool looking ghost and all that. That was the most ghost really that we saw in here. We're getting a little further into this world. We're meeting some of the darker elements here with the artifact stealer and the relic man. I'm sure that this Winkman is going to turn up again. And I think Leopold is going to be important. I think Lucy kind of started to make a connection with him, and I think it's obvious that they're implying that he's not treated very well by his parents. So I have a feeling he's going to wind up helping the team in some way in the coming episodes. Then there's something going on with George again, which I think is an effect from the mirror, and I think that's going to keep building and coming to a head. And I think his connection with Pam is going to become important too, because they keep showing this and keep showing how they're making a connection between each other. So that's going to play out, I think. So we're down to 3 episodes. It's a pretty intense one. It's building towards a climax, so it's pretty exciting. So we're excited to see where the next 3 episodes are going to head and where this is going to end up. Okay, so stick with us for episode 6 next. Thanks.